So now let's bring this super blue one up to do a comparison and see the influences of mostly just a complete blue cast. It has a mother color of this blue violet, and you don't want to miss that. However, there is still some variations happening. Can you see some yellow influence in here? And this one has, this picture has a lot of reflective quality. So it's going to be picking up almost a mirror-like of everything that was happening around in that area. This is only a slightly different angle, but can you see how this one is not influenced by that orange and red? And now that you've seen such an exaggerated version over here, what do you see here in this one? How is it different? What temperature does it go? I believe this goes green with some blue inside it. Now when we're painting it, of course there's going to be variations in that. When I say use only the primaries and secondaries, it's only to organize it in our mind. Because like I said, the observation I think a lot of times is the harder part. Once you have the observation skills, then mixing it won't be as difficult. But when you look at it all and can't understand even the difference between the fact that this looks blue, this looks green, and the reflection of that lemon in there is causing this to go yellow. When you start seeing that, then you're going to start seeing more and more subtleties. I'll never forget when I finally did see temperature. I was in art school. So I was walking by a windowsill and a cool light was coming through the window, and I was actually able to look down and see that the shadow had an orange cast. And I felt like the veil came off my eyes and I was able to see temperature. And once you can, you're going to be able to see planes more and show form a lot more, because you won't always be a slave of changing value drastically between something like this area and this area, but you can use temperature instead. So let's take a look at this one now. The reason I wanted to show this overhead view because it's happening in other places, but I wanted you to take a look inside the vase and see something really interesting, what happens when light comes in, a warm light, and starts bouncing around. So there is no influence in here. There is no lemons on the inside or anything to drink or oranges or anything like that. But can you see how orange this goes? So once you know that that is going orange, can you take a look inside that? And if you had to pick the temperature of just inside that area, can you see how it warms? The light's coming in and the shape of this is bouncing this all over and showing this warm light. What about this one? What temperature or what color is that? Especially if we're saying this is orange and this is, I'd say, violet. What is this? I'd submit that it's green. This is getting light bouncing around coming inside here. Why is the inside of that looking different than the inside of that? The shape. So can you see how it's got this half covering lid, and that's not letting light enter in the same way as this. Now this also, you can see, has a slightly warmer white to it. Hopefully we can all see this and this are a warmer white than all of these. And if they are a warmer white, what direction do they go? What warmth do you see in them? I'll tell you what I see. I think this one goes a little more orange or red, and this one goes a little more yellow or orange. However, I do see spots, and I don't know if it's the bumps on there. To my perception, I see variations of green, which is interesting. It could be a warm green. So do you see that? I've said this before, but this is a much better exercise. And my assignment to you is to go out and paint this outside, or if you put a light inside, put things on the other side to influence, meaning put a red cloth or a green cloth, so on the opposite side of the light. Oh, speaking of which, why do we do the opposite side of the light? Because this yellow lemon can influence the shadow, but it cannot influence the light. It is receiving light from the sun and bouncing back. So it is never stronger than the light of the sun. So this lemon here cannot influence here. But I see, which is interesting as I say that, I was noticing I see a little bit of yellow on this edge here. If I am, how could that be? Well, there could be a turning of form here, so it's receiving less sunlight and getting more, just a hair of bounced light. I love this stuff, as you can tell. This is how I paint. This is of the course, of the actual color part of the course. This is just the meat. It's being able to observe temperature, being able to observe variation, and using that variation to show planes, because everything is made up of planes facing, this one facing up, this one facing sideways. You have a plane here, plane there, and a plane down, this one facing here. And how do you show the differences of that? You show it with value and you show it with temperature.